So long before I was a photography nerd, I was an audio nerd. And in today's video, we're gonna talk a little bit about my microphone addiction and talk a little bit about audio for vlogging and audio for video purposes. So I'll kind of share with you guys what I've discovered. So most of you guys already know this, but the audio in your camera is absolutely terrible. You need to not use that. One of the microphones that most people start off with is the Rode Video Micro. And I know this doesn't look like a Rode Video Micro, but I promise there is one in here somewhere. So inside here is just a Rode Video Micro. It's like a $70 microphone. And the beautiful thing about a Rode Video Micro is that it does not require a battery of any kind. So what I've done with this is I've bought this windscreen, I believe Movo makes it, and I've cut holes in it and I've shoved my Video Micro inside of this so it's completely encased. That way it's protected from the wind in all directions. This particular windscreen, I'll put a link in the comments below, has foam on the inside, and then it's got the typical fur dead cat thing on the outside. And what that does is it protects the mic all the way around it. I've discovered with the dead kitten that comes with the Video Micro, it's actually still kind of vulnerable to wind in the back. This protects it all the way around. So like I said, this does not require a battery, and that is probably the Rode Video Micro's strongest upside, because there's nothing worse than having a mic that requires a battery, having that battery die halfway through a shoot or a particular take, not having the battery on you, and then you have to go to a store. It's a big problem when that happens. And there's a lot of microphones out there that are great mics, but they require a battery. This does not require a battery, therefore it's always gonna work. Also, the audio on these things are actually quite good. With all of the different microphones that I've owned and compared it to, it's right up there with the best of them. It actually sounds pretty good. It is a little bit gain hungry, and what I mean by that is you're gonna have to turn your camera's preamp up a bit, which can lead to a little bit of background noise, a little bit of hiss in your audio. But if you have a camera with decent audio preamps, it's gonna be okay. And for what I do, shooting landscape photography most of the time, a lot of times there's ambient sound anyways. There's gonna be the sound of a creek, there's gonna be wind, there's gonna be ambient sound, and that ambient sound often covers up any kind of low background hiss or noise that you might have. So one of the downsides to the Rode Video Micro, in addition to it being a little bit gain hungry, is that it's a mono microphone, so it's not gonna give you a very good sense of place. So a lot of times for a sense of place, if you're doing a landscape photography style vlog, or you just wanna kind of have some of that ambient sound, is that you need a stereo mic. You know, you could use something like the Zoom H1. This is a stereo microphone, but it's only a stereo microphone, and it's really kind of vulnerable to a lot of wind noise. Even if you put, you know, big dead cat on this, it's just not going to do well in the wind. So this is a Asden, I think that's how you pronounce it, Asden microphone. And the cool part about this is that it's a stereo microphone. So if I pull this off, we've got stereo mic up here on top, but it's also got a mono shotgun style mic. So you can just switch it between mono and stereo. This is a really cool microphone, not only because of that feature, you can do both with it, but it's also like maybe even less than half the price of the Rode equivalent, which is only a stereo microphone. So Rode makes this really big, fancy, and very expensive stereo microphone, amazing audio quality. But for the types of stuff that we're often doing on YouTube, that's kind of overkill, honestly. I found this Asden mic to be a nice, affordable alternative to it. Downside does require batteries, so if your batteries are dead, no audio for you. But for the most part, I really like it. Also, this will automatically turn on with your camera. So if you have it in the auto setting, when your camera is on, it turns on the microphone. When your camera is off, it turns off the microphone. So it saves batteries that way. This is a great solution if you're looking for a stereo mic that can also double as a mono mic as well. The mono is always going to be better for isolating your voice from a noisy background. So another mic option is this. This is made by Deity. It is the, what is it? the V-Mic D3 Pro. I got this because I'm always looking for a slightly better sounding mic. But the main problem that I've found with it is that, again, it has to be charged. So this doesn't actually require batteries. You can just charge it using USB-C, but you have a bass roll off. You've also got a manual gain on the back of the microphone, which is really nice for dialing in the exact amount of gain that you want. And for that reason, you can turn down the preamps in your camera and crank up this. It's a really great sounding mic, but you have to charge it. If it dies, you're screwed. And that sucks. So yeah, again, you're running into the battery situation. Also, right now on top of the camera, I have the new Sony microphone. Now, what's cool about the Sony mic, that I forget what it's called, it's a bunch of numbers and letters, but what's cool about the Sony mic is the fact that it does not require any kind of cable from the camera to the microphone. Because of that, it kind of simplifies the setup. It also makes it a little bit more weather sealed because you don't have to have the flaps on the side of your camera open, but it's only for Sony shooters, and I think it sounds pretty good. It's actually got a couple different pickup patterns as well as like some noise reduction stuff built into the microphone. Jury's still out on that. I'm not sure what I think of it yet, but you've been listening to it this whole time, so let me know what you think of it. There's a lot of scenarios where a shotgun style mic does not work very well, and you're gonna want to use a lav mic like this. So lav mics are great anytime you're not gonna be super close to camera. You can back way off and your voice is gonna be just as loud and clear as it is when you're close. There's also a lot of times where you're shooting like with little things like this. This is a DJI Osmo Pocket that has absolutely god-awful audio. And by at least plugging in some kind of little lav mic into one of these things, at least you're helping the audio a little bit. No matter what you plug into this thing, it's gonna be terrible. The audio processing on this is terrible. You can pump a good mic into it and you're still gonna get junk out of it. So in a scenario like that, a lot of times what you're better off to do is just to get some kind of little cell phone adapter and then record this lav mic with your phone. By doing that, you're gonna get cleaner audio than if you pump it into this, and you've always got your phone on you, so you're not really packing much extra gear. This is a whole lot lighter than packing a big, shotgun mic. But if you're recording into a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, you're gonna want to have that audio go straight into your camera. It saves you a step. You don't have to synchronize anything later on in post. So the first solution that I had were these guys. These are the Rode Links, and when they came out, it was a great deal. They were small by comparisons to what was out at that point, and they were way cheaper. These were like $300. Some of the Sennheiser stuff is like $800, which is nuts. Way overkill for what we're doing on YouTube. But I've since swapped those out for these, which are obviously way smaller. These are Rode Link Go's or Rode Go, or I forgot, I can't keep up with all the names, but these are absolutely awesome for vlogging, or even for something like these where they're small enough you can just shove them in a pocket. These will slide right onto the hot shoe, and you don't even actually have to use a lavalier mic with these. There's a mic built in on one of these. Now, I don't love the audio quality of this particular mic, but it is super easy to just clip right there, shove the other one on, and you're good to go. But what I typically do is I plug a mic in, shove it in my pocket. Now I've got a little bit more wind protection, a little bit better microphone. This is my go-to for any time I'm gonna be way far away from camera, or I'm just in a really noisy environment, because the closer this microphone is to you, the more it's gonna isolate your voice from everything around it. So if you're in a really noisy shooting situation, shooting in a waterfall, shooting in a busy place, downtown New York, whatever, that's gonna isolate your voice a whole lot better. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick sample of the audio. This is the Sony microphone. I forget the name of it, but I'm speaking in my normal talking voice about just over an arm's length away. This is the Sony microphone. Okay, we're now listening to the Rode Video Micro. I'm same, just over arm's length away. I've got my gain cranked up to about 20 or so. So this is my normal talking voice. This is the Rode Video Micro. All right, so now I'm recording with the Asden. I've had to turn the gain down to 2 inside the camera. This is in the mono setting. This is the Asden stereo and mono microphone. Now this is still the Asden microphone. I've switched it over into stereo now. Should be able to get a little bit more ambient sound. We'll do another ambient test with this, but this is in the stereo setting. This is the Asden microphone, my normal talking voice. Now this is the Rode wireless setup. Right now I'm not using a lavalier mic. I've just got the, let me show you. I've just got it in my pocket, not using a lav mic. This is the built-in microphone sound. This is my normal talking voice. I think I've had to change the gain over to about 4. So this is the Rode wireless system. So now I've switched over to a lav mic going through the Rode Wireless Go. This is the way I would normally use it. I just put it down here in my pocket, and then I've got the lav mic kind of clipped to my collar. And what's nice about this setup is that I can back way far away from the camera and my voice stays the same volume. So if you're doing a lot of talking way far away from camera, this is pretty nice. So this is the Rode Wireless Go with a lav mic. So while we're on the subject of audio, I want to share with you guys my office setup. I get a lot of questions about it. So we're gonna switch from the microphone that you're hearing now, which is on camera, to this microphone here, which sounds like this, and it's a massive difference. So because of my podcasting and my podcast background, my audio background, I love these kind of microphones. This is an RE320. It's called a large diaphragm dynamic mic. You see it a lot of times in like broadcasting for either podcasts or radio. And then back here, this is a DBX 286S. It's basically a vocal compressor where it adds a little low end, adds a little high end, and compresses the audio. That way I don't have to do quite as much once I get it onto the computer. I typically record with Adobe Audition. Sometimes I'll record with Camtasia if I'm recording my screen, but most times I'm just recording with Adobe Audition. Yeah, this is my audio setup. The microphone has changed just because I'm an audio nerd, but right now it's the RE320. So anyways, just wanted to share this part of my audio setup, and you can hear the difference between this mic and the on-camera mic. Massive difference just because of how close it is to your voice. So there's something called the proximity effect, where the closer a microphone gets to the audio source, the more low end, the more bassy it sounds. That's why this microphone sounds so much better than that microphone. That microphone sounds like a cardboard box. This microphone sounds deep, rich, and full. So this is my setup for in the office. So with all of these mics, which ones do I find myself using the most often? It's definitely the Rode Video Micro. It's because, first of all, it does not require batteries. That's a really important thing because I don't ever want to be out getting ready to record and then discover that I forgot to charge my mic. And like is true with so many of these microphones that require batteries or require a separate charge, if the battery's dead, you're screwed. And so that's never gonna happen with the Rode Video Micro. It sounds good. And because I've been able to rig it up with this crazy wind muff thing, it's really resistant to wind now too. So it's really nice in that way. Jury's still out on the Sony mic. I like the sound of it. I like that it doesn't require batteries or a cable. That's kind of nice. But really, I use the Rode Video Micro, and I use my lav system a lot because it's so small and it's really nice if I need to talk way far away from camera. So hopefully this has been useful, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any audio comments, let me know in the questions down below or in the description down below. We'll see you guys later, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy, everybody.